Previously on B-Movie Enema the series.
So with all that, I have to say that while it isn't that terrible of a movie, it was very slow. Too slow for me. And while Jeff might be a big fan of this movie, I can only give Private Hell 36 a paltry 2 poops out of 5.
And now, the conclusion. Oh well, sometimes you like movies I don't, and sometimes I like movies you don't.
You win some and you lose some.
Welcome to another episode of B-Movie Enema the series. I'm Jeff Arbuckle, your rootin' tootin' enema man at the edge of the great B-Movie poop shoot. Say hello, poop shoot. Oh, I'm sure everyone's happy to see you too. Now over there is Nurse Disembodied. Nurse, how's it going today?
Doing pretty good, but I have a question.
Go for it, Nurse.
Is this like, I don't know, a part 2 episode rolling off the dramatic cliffhanger last week, or...
Who's to say?
But you're the writer of the show.
I sure am. Oh, check it out. Poop Shoot has this week's movie. Let's go see what it is.
What's on the docket for this week, Jeff?
Well, this is something I have a lot of experience with. Believe you me.
Uh-oh. Star Trek? Comic books? Something else super dorky?
This week's movie is 1959's The Louisiana Hussy.
Wait, have you seen this movie, like a lot or something? How do you have all this expert... Oh.
Yeah, there it is. I can spot a Louisiana Hussy in a split second.
Of course you can.
This movie was written by Charles Lang. Now, he should not be confused with one of the all-time greatest cinematographers of the same era named Charles Lang. That Lang was nominated for 18 Best Cinematography Oscars. Now, this Charles Lang who wrote The Louisiana Hussy is not that guy. This Lang was probably best known for being in genre films of the 40s and 50s. However, he also wrote some scripts. For the most part, he traded his acting career for a script writing career at one point. At the end of his career, he probably wrote some of his best recognized TV scripts for series like Perry Mason, Bonanza, The High Chaparral. But our really interesting person behind the scenes for this movie is the director Lee Sholem. Now, Sholem was nicknamed Rollum Sholem.
Aw, man, I get it. Dice addiction is a terrible affliction.
What? No. His nickname came from basically being the predecessor to the type of filmmaker that Roger Corman would be known as later. Now, it's not entirely listed out on either Wikipedia or IMDb, but Sholem was supposedly responsible for directing over 1,300 productions for film and television.
1,300? That's insane!
I know, but... well, he's known for being a workhorse in terms of completing projects. The crazy thing about that stat is that he never went over schedule. Not once. You give him a script and a deadline, and Sholem would deliver a finished product.
How did he ever sleep or eat? When did he have time for a family or a life outside of working?
Beats me. Most of what's on his filmography are either B pictures like Tarzan movies at the start of his career, serials like Superman and the Mole Men, and TV shows like The Adventures of Superman, The Adventures of Long John Silver, and more. He did a lot of work back and forth from TV to film and back again. I'm guessing that, being able to always be on time and efficient, he was probably a good director to hire if you didn't really have that much money for the production itself and you just needed something quick. Now, some of the movies I do recognize on his filmography, though, are Tobor the Great from 1954, Pharaoh's Curse in 1957, and 1967's Catalina Caper. That last one was featured on an early second season episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I still can't get over the 1,300 movies and TV shows this guy made.
Now, to give you an idea of how Sholem worked to make sure he stayed on schedule, there's a story of the filming of a 1952 episode of The Adventures of Superman. In the episode, the actress who played Lois Lane, Phyllis Coates, was knocked out by accident by another actor in the scene. It was a total accident. I'm not sure if it was like a slap or a punch or just a tussle that accidentally got her involved. Anyway, when she went down, Sholem snapped to and personally revived her from being knocked out and rushed her to her feet so she could finish the scenes that she had for the episode before any swelling or marks showed up on her face to provide further difficulty and stress on the schedule.
I'm sure if either me or Poop Shoot got knocked out, you'd totally be cool with us having appropriate recovery time. Right?
Sure, of course I would. Anyway, let's get into the movie and meet our alluring Louisiana Hussy.
Morning, Shark. Why are you dressing those clothes?
These are the clothes I usually wear.
Ah, but today is not a usual day.
For you, maybe it isn't. For me, it's just like any other day.
But you can't wear those clothes to the church.
I'm not going to the church.
But you gotta go. You're the best man.
I will not go to your wedding.
Well, you'll be very unhappy. Please, Shark.
No.
Morning, Pierre.
Good morning, Carl.
That's no way for a man to shave. Someday you might make a slip with that razor and cut your head off. Why don't you pull them out with tweezers and it'll last longer? This is not a happy day for poor Jacques. Jacques always loved Lily.
I know. But Lily loves me.
All the women love Pierre.
But Pierre loves only one woman.
I won't be able to come to the wedding.
Why not?
I'll have to help Jacques. I'm sorry, Pierre. I did want to see you and Lily get married. Here.
What's this for?
It's a wedding present for you. Now that you've taken on a wife, you'll need a new knife to open up the oysters.
Jacques, once you come to the wedding, it won't seem right. Come on, Carl. Come on, Carl.
Everybody knows Callie.
Well, I don't know you. But I've heard about you, Callie. You're the old Gree woman. What do you want?
You come with Callie. Child's very sick.
Cobb, who are you talking to?
Callie, the Gree woman. Says she's found a sick child. Wants us to come with her.
Child, Callie know how to make you well again.
That's no child. What happened to her?
I don't know, but Callie know how to cure her. You take her to my cabin. My cabin is down there, right through there. You carry her, huh? What you do? You want her to die?
Oh, go away, Gree woman.
You take her to my cabin. Callie know how to make her well again.
Hi.
Who are you?
Shakil. At least you can tell me your name. What is it? Is it Marie? Marianne? Haha, come on. There is no reason for you to be afraid of Jacques. I won't hurt you. What is it?
Annette.
Ninette. It's nice. What does the L stand for? Would you like some coffee, Ninette? Carl! Ninette would like some coffee! Why did you do that?
Give them back to me, please give them back to me.
I took nothing from you, Minette.
Don't laugh. Either you or that old man stole them, and I want them back.
What do you think we stole from you?
As if you didn't know. Those rings are worth a lot of money, Jacques, and I want them back right now. Give them to me.
I don't know nothing about any rings. I'm not a thief, and neither is Cobb. If we robbed you, do you think we would be taking you back to the pit with us?
I'm sorry, Jacques. But somebody stole them.
Minette.
How is she, Jacques? How is she?
Not very good, Cobb.
Give her a big kiss. Now, everybody, go away. But, Pierre, where are your friends? Aren't you going to invite us in for a glass of wine? No. Well, I don't understand. Why do you want to get rid of us, Pierre? You and Lily have a very nice house, Pierre. Yeah, you should ask everybody here. Doc! Doc, Opie! Doc! Doc, I got cheese.
What's Cobb doing here? Maybe something's happened to Jacques.
Hey, wait a minute. Louis, go to my house and get my satchel. What is it? What's happened? Is it my brother? No. But come on.
Doc? Why's she shaking like that?
She's in a state of shock. Well, she doesn't seem to have any broken bones. Pick her up, Jock. But be very gentle with her. Where do you want me to take her, Doc?
Your place is the closest.
I think Lily'd make a better nurse than Jock. She better stay with Pierre and Lily. You don't mind, do you, Pierre?
Of course he doesn't.
Let's go. Take it, Pierre.
What's her name?
I don't know.
What happened to her?
I told you I don't know.
Poor Pierre.
What do you mean, poor Pierre?
I feel sorry for him.
Why?
It's his wedding day. No man wants two women staying in his house on his wedding day. Poor Pierre.
Oh, she'll sleep for a couple of hours.
Will she be all right, Doc?
It's nothing serious. As soon as she wakes up, you come get me. You don't look too well, Pierre. I think I got some pills that'll help you.
Take a couple of those every 2 hours, you'll sleep like a baby.
Someone has to take care of her.
But it doesn't have to be you. Today is the first day that I'm your husband and you're my wife.
I know.
How do you know?
Doc Opie gave her something to make her sleep.
The minute she wakes up, she moves to somebody else's house.
I'll hang up your clothes. Then I'll fix you some dinner. You hungry, Pierre?
Yes. I'm very hungry.
Don't you like my cooking, Pierre?
Who can eat?
She's awake. Doc Opie said to let him know the minute she woke up. Well, who are you? Lily. Where am I? In my house. Would you like something to eat? No, thank you. I'm going to get Doc Opie, and I'll be right back. If you need anything, you just call Pierre.
You tell Doc she's got to stay someplace else.
Pierre. Pierre? May I have a cigarette, please? Don't go away. Sit down. You're not afraid of me, are you?
Looks to me like someone gave you a pretty bad beating.
No one beat me. I was thrown by a horse. You're not very friendly, Pierre. You don't like me, do you? If you got to know me, I think you'd like me.
Well, when Doc gets here, you're leaving when he leaves.
But where will I go?
I don't know. A rich woman like you must have some fine house someplace. Where do you live?
What makes you think I'm rich, Pierre?
My wife said your clothes are very expensive.
Your wife is right. I know why you want me out of your house.
Good. Then I don't have to explain it to you.
Why, you are afraid of me.
What makes you think I'm afraid of you?
Don't you know?
No.
Hi, Jacques. How long has it been since you've eaten?
A long time, Doctor.
Oh, with a little food and some rest, you'll get your strength back in no time.
But I can't stay here, and I've always thought you can stay here as long as you want to, Minette.
You see? You're among friends. All you gotta do is concentrate on getting well. Lily, get this young lady some food. And, take Pierre and Jacques with you. I want to be alone with my patient.
Jacques, why don't you stay and have supper with us?
Oh, you don't want company on your wedding night, Lily?
One more isn't going to make any difference.
I can't stay. Good night, Lily.
Good night, Jacques. And remember, you'll always be welcome in our home.
Doc, you say Manette's feeling all better?
She is?
Then why is she still staying at Lily's and Pierre's? Well, if she was staying at your house, would you send her away?
No, but my wife would.
Why did you do that?
You've been acting like her servant ever since Minette came here. Lily, she's a very bad woman.
Pierre, how can you say that?
Because it's the truth.
How do you know?
Look, she tells us nothing about herself. We don't know where she comes from, where she lived. We don't even know her last name. If she's rich, why would she want to live in a place like the pit? Why? Huh, Lily?
Good morning, Minette. Good morning, Lily. Pierre. Lily, honey, it's very kind of you letting me wear your clothes.
I'm sure they're not as nice as the ones you're used to wearing. I'll fix your breakfast.
Thank you, Lily.
You must have a last name. What is it?
Lanier.
Why do you stay here?
I find the pit very interesting.
You must have lived someplace before Jacques found you and brought you here. Where was it? All right, don't answer. But I'll tell you one thing. Today's the last day you stay in my house.
Good morning, Jacques.
Good morning, Minette.
Shame on you, Jacques. This is the first time you've come to see me, sir.
I didn't come to see you. I came to talk to Pierre.
Oh? He's inside.
I know. I'll talk to him later.
Jacques.
What is it, Minette? Something wrong?
Yes. Oh, Jacques, I don't know what to do. Lily's been so good to me, I'd never do anything to hurt her, but I like Lily very much, Jacques.
You seem to like Pierre very much, too. Or you wouldn't...
I hate him. Oh, I know you are his brother, and this is not a nice thing to say to you, but I hate Pierre.
If you hate Pierre so much, why do you stay in his house?
I'll tell you, but not here.
What is it that you're going to tell me, Minette?
Give me a word and I'll tell Lily. Well, the first time that I stayed at Pierre and Lily's house, the doctor gave me something to make me sleep. I don't know how long I slept, but when I woke, Pierre tried to make love to me. Don't you believe me?
Oh, I know what you say. It's true.
Then why don't you say something?
Just before I came into the house that night with Lily and Doc, I passed by the bedroom window. I saw you and Pierre in each other's arms. You didn't seem to mind Pierre making love to you.
I hated it, but I was so weak I couldn't stop him. I tried, but he... Now I understand why you're so cold to me. Why you think...
I'm sorry, Minette. I thought...
I know what you thought. What kind of a woman do you think I am?
Oh, please don't cry, Minette. I'm a fool, a stupid fool. You know, the first time I saw you, I thought that you were the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I still think so, Minette. Will you forgive me?
I didn't want to stay at Pierre and Lily's, but Pierre said if I left, he'd tell everybody he was going to accuse me of horrible things, Jacques.
Don't you worry about Pierre. He'll accuse you of nothing. I'll see to that.
Thank you, Jacques. Jacques, I'm so alone. You don't know what a terrible feeling it is not to have anyone in the world care what happens to you.
I care, Minette.
How could you care? Why, you don't even know me. Jacques, I've got to find some place to stay.
Don't you think you should go home, Minette?
I have no home to go to.
But you must live someplace. Where? If I only...
Please don't ask me any more questions, Jacques.
All right. You could stay here if you want to.
Oh, I could do that. Why, people would talk.
They'll have nothing to talk about. You stay here and I'll move in with Cub.
You're so kind, Jacques.
Jacques! Jacques!
I've got to go, Minette.
Jacques.
Huh?
Will you forgive me
For what?
for calling you a thief?
Oh. That. I'd forgotten all about that. Minette, if somebody stole your rings, it must have been old Callie.
Who's Callie?
The old Gree woman who found you unconscious near Oyster Shell Road.
I thought you found me.
No, Callie found you first, then came and got Cub and me. We are going back to La Forge country, Minette. I'll stop in on old Callie. If she's got your rings, I'll get them back. You know, all the Gree are thieves.
How can I ever repay you for all you've done?
Oh, it's nothing. I've done nothing. Goodbye, Minette.
Goodbye, Jacques.
Okay, so the Louisiana Hussy has entered into the lives of the people of the pit.
I kind of question exactly what this pit place is. I'm not too sure the people of this area would dress or even act like the people here.
Yeah, I don't know if the pit is like a real place or just a nickname for this particular area or village, but however, we do have the two brothers, Pierre and Jacques. Now, Pierre talks like a typical Southerner with maybe a little extra bayou affectation to his speech. Jacques is like straight out of the Creole weird French part of the soggy bottom part of the state of Louisiana. And then you have Lily, who seemingly has a very light accent. I don't know.
I don't know either. It does seem like Jacques and Pierre should not keep working together or, like, being brothers anymore.
Yeah, right out of the gate, you already get the idea that there is a ton of tension between the two brothers. They have a business that is all about the rivers and lakes around them. You have to do something to live, I suppose, but there's already a woman between them. As the movie opens, it's the wedding day of Pierre and Lily, but Jacques has always loved Lily since they were all young.
I mean, at least Jacques is only being a jerk to his brother and not Lily.
Yeah, I mean, it's known between the brothers that Lily never loved Jacques, and she always loved Pierre. So, yeah, I mean, for as rough and gruff as Jacques is, at least he's not taking Lily's love for another man out on her. However, now things get nice and complicated when a woman crashes into the pit like a pair of sweater torpedoes crashing into you during a completely platonic hug. Yeah. Anyway, this woman who calls herself Minette Lanier, really, she's the entire plot of the movie going forward. But let's talk about Jacques first, because I think he has the most interesting career. He's played by Peter Coe. Now, Coe doesn't exactly have the most illustrious career, but he did well for the 30 or so years he was around. At the very beginning of his career, he scored two pretty solid roles in late-era Universal Monsters classics. The first was as Carl in House of Frankenstein. He followed that up with the role of Dr. Zardad in The Mummy's Curse. At the end of the 40s, he appeared in the John Wayne World War II film Sands of Iwo Jima. By the time he was in this movie, Coe was working more on TV than in films. But by the end of the 60s, he was mostly done with acting, despite still having a couple of credits to round out his career in the mid-70s. Why I find his career to be the most interesting is because it wasn't like he was in a bunch of B-movies or exploitation movies like this one. He had some high-profile films on his filmography. He worked consistently, but was never really a star. That said, I would say for the most part, he does seem to have a fairly nice career. Compared to Coe, you have Robert Richards, who plays Pierre. This was the only film role he had a credit in. But this was right smack dab in the middle of his fairly short career. He was mostly a TV guy, appearing on shows like Maverick and Alfred Hitchcock Presents, but by 1962, he was done.
While Pierre might be a little bit of a jerk with making out with Minette and being kind of a douche to Lily, at least the actor seemed to be okay in his role.
Yeah, I don't really know why he didn't really have any other roles. But family friend and employee of the two brothers, Cobb, is played by Howard Wright. Wright had over 100 credits and was mostly a TV guy, but he appeared in all the hits. He appeared on shows like Wagon Train, 77 Sunset Strip, Lassie, Maverick, Gunsmoke, The Untouchables, Perry Mason, and a lot more. He also had a role in the 1958 giant spider flick The Spider, directed by Burt I. Gordon. By the way, Burt I. Gordon made the movie Food of the Gods in the 70s that had a supporting role for Ida Lupino from last week's Private Hell 36. But I digress. In the role of Doc Opie, who will be a very key character later, is Tyler McVeigh. McVeigh racked up about 220 roles, which included movies like Night of the Blood Beast, Attack of the Giant Leeches, and an uncredited part in From Here to Eternity. Of course, he also appeared on basically all the same TV shows that most of the other people in this movie did as well. Now, he did also appear in the 1964 movie The Killers, directed by the director of last week's movie, Don Siegel. So, there you go, nurse. I guess after a couple more connections, this episode is a part 2 of sorts from last week.
That's one mystery solved, I guess.
So, get this, nurse. I said that Tyler McVeigh appeared in over 220 movies and TV shows?
Yeah?
Well, later, we're going to talk about someone who appeared in over 100 more things.
Maybe that guy was in so many things because he could with Mr. 1300 Productions directed.
Yeah, I guess so. We should talk about our two ladies of this movie. Let's start with the titular Louisiana Hussy herself, Nan Peterson. Peterson was fairly new to the biz at this point. Just the year before, she appeared in The Hideous Sun Demon as Trudy, but 1959 would be her breakout year. She appeared in TV shows like Rawhide and Lawman, but she also appeared in this movie and Girls Town, starring Mamie Van Dorn. However, Peterson's career ended somewhat quickly. After appearing in a 4th episode of The Twilight Zone in 1964, Peterson was done. She married a doctor and remained married to him for almost 45 years before he passed away. She passed away just last year in August of 2023 at the age of 92. The woman who found the Hussy, Callie the Gree woman, was played by Helen Forrest, who looked nothing like the old Gree woman. If I had to guess, she was hired for her voice talent. She was the singer for swing bands led by the likes of Artie Shaw, Benny Goodman, and Harry James. Interestingly, as the 60s dawned, she went to Lake Tahoe to perform with Frank Sinatra Jr. She was performing alongside him at the time that Sinatra Jr. was kidnapped in December of 1963. If you want a wild story, read about the kidnapping and the intentions of the mastermind behind that kidnapping. But maybe the most famous person in this movie is Betty Lynn, who plays Lily. Lynn kind of excels at being the good-looking good girl. She was already moderately famous in her early 20s because she was in the 1950 version of Cheaper by the Dozen, starring Clifton Webb and Myrna Loy. But that wasn't why she was famous. In 1961, 2 years after this movie's release, she started a stint of 26 episodes across 5 years on The Andy Griffith Show. You ever hear of that show, Nurse?
Well, yeah, duh. Who hasn't?
Well, you know Barney Fife, right?
Yeah, did she play Barney Fife?
No, I mean, she played Thelma Lou, which was Barney's sweetheart on the show. Their relationship ended on the show when Barney left for Raleigh. When he returned the following year as a guest star, he discovered Thelma Lou had gotten married. But the idea of Thelma Lou marrying someone else absolutely broke Lynn's heart, as she could not accept that Thelma Lou would have married anyone else or not left with Barney. In fact, Knotts and Lynn had this whole other headcanon that they used when he came back as a guest star. That's really kind of sweet. But in the 1986 TV movie that was like a reunion movie, 20 years after that final episode featuring the two of them together, it was revealed her marriage lasted only a year, and the two sweethearts finally married.
I guess that was the time that Barney Fife finally got his girl.
Indeed. Okay, so there are still 3 people I want to talk about later, but we should get back to the movie. And what trouble will our Louisiana Hussy cause? Well, it's time to find out.
Well, if we're going to get any moss today, we better get started.
Cobb, you mind if I bunked at your place for a while?
Why, sure, Jacques. You can stay with me as long as you like.
Cobb, today we work real hard. Now that I'm a married man, I gotta make lots of money. Poor old Jacques. He looks like he'd like to kill me.
Time will make everything all right, Pierre.
I hope so. I love him like a brother. What's she doing in Jacques' house?
Manetta's going to stay there. Are you jealous, Pierre?
Are you crazy? She's a bad woman. She shouldn't be staying in Jacques' house.
Well, she may be bad for you because you have a wife, but she isn't bad for Jacques. Maybe she'll make him forget that he's in love with Lily.
All right, Jacques. Go out!
You don't mind if I go with you, do you, Jock?
No, Minette. You're welcome.
Pretty hot day. Cobb? Pretty hot, huh?
Better day for fishing than for collecting moss.
Cobb?
Huh?
Where did Ninette go?
Came ashore to look for Callie.
Jock? I'm sorry Lily doesn't love you. I almost wish she loved you instead of me.
I know how much you love Lily.
Why do you say it like that?
Never mind, Pierre. I don't want to talk to you.
Well, you're going to. Got some things to tell you. So Minette's going to be staying at your place, huh? Well, now you listen to me.
You better shut up, Pierre.
I'm not going to shut up until you hear what I have to say.
If you don't like Minette, why'd you let her stay on with you and Lily?
I didn't want her to, but she wouldn't leave. I should have told Lily that very first night what she was.
Telling your wife that you tried to make love to another woman on your wedding night? It wouldn't be nice, would it, Pierre?
Is that what she told you?
She didn't have to tell me. I saw you myself.
I gotta tell you. She forced her love on me. Jacques, she's a tramp. A nymphomaniac. Listen to me. Let me tell you what happened.
No, Jacques. No. Wait.
Now you're going to listen to me. Maybe that'll cool you off and you'll listen to me.
Now!
Callie? I thought you would come back and pay old Callie a visit.
I was told that you were the one who found me.
That's right. If I hadn't have found you, you might have died.
Well, I came here to thank you, Callie.
Well, that's very sweet of you, dearie. Not many people think so kindly of poor old Callie. I was just going to sit down and have some soup. Won't you join me?
No, thank you, Callie. I can only stay a minute.
Oh, you can stay longer than that. We have a lot to talk about, dearie, don't we? Oh, you gave me such a fright, I dropped the dipper into the soup. Oh, I'll have
I
to...
didn't come here to thank you, Callie. I came here to get these. You stole them from me, and I want them back.
I'll give them back to you, dearie. These beautiful rings weren't made for these gnarled fingers of mine. They were made for beautiful hands like yours. But before I give them back, I want to know what you're going to give me.
I'm not going to give you anything.
These rings are very expensive. Surely you're going to give old Callie a reward for finding them.
You didn't find them. You stole them from me. Now take them off and give them back.
I won't take them off until I know how much you're going to give me. I'm old and very poor. You'll never get them off that way, dearie. I had a time to get them on myself. I had to use butter to squeeze them on. What are you going to do?
You don't have to stick to get the dip out, Callie. It'll be much easier if you use your hand.
Oh, don't, dearie, don't.
I want my rings.
Stop it. I'll give them back to you.
You're right, Callie. These rings were never meant for the likes of you.
And nor for the likes of you either, dearie.
Lynette! Lynette! Lynette. We've got to hurry and get back to the pit.
Why?
Pierre and Jacques had a terrible fight. Pierre's hurt real bad.
Well, now, I wonder what they were fighting about.
What do men usually fight about?
Did he carry on like that when he fell on the polling hook, Cobb?
What'd you pour on me? Whiskey?
Oh, no, indeed. Whiskey's only to be taken internally. Sit down here. Let me bandage it. That shoulder will stiffen up on you in the morning. You won't be able to use it. It'll be 2 or 3 days before you can go back to work. Maybe that's just as well. Keep you and Jacques apart. Give him time to cool off.
Here comes Lily.
How much owe you, Doc?
$1. $5 for taking care of Manette.
Not me. I ain't responsible for her.
I treated her in your house.
Miss Lanier's cost me enough already. If she owes you $5, you better get it from her.
What happened?
Nothing serious, Lily.
Thanks, Doc.
Did you say Lanier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, take care of him, Lily. Keep those two birds apart until this wing heals. Lanier. Minette Lanier. Somehow that has a familiar ring.
You know, if it wasn't for Cobb, that fool Jacques would have killed me.
Yeah, why do you hate Manette so?
Never mind. You just stay away from her.
Why?
Because I'm your husband and I'll tell you to. Where are you going?
Take these back to Manette.
All right. But you come right back here.
Come in. Hello, Lily. I brought your clothes, Manette. Thank you. Excellent sewing. They're almost like new. What's the matter, Lily? Oh, I've never seen such beautiful rings. They are beautiful. Your husband must be very rich.
Jacques, we've been partners ever since Papa died. I want to keep it like that.
I don't. From now on, we are partners no longer.
Please, Jacques, you can't do this.
Save your breath, Lily. He's a crazy man. Crazy men don't make sense. Look, Jacques, you got a Jeep, 2 boats, barges, equipment. What about that?
There's a list of everything we own. Half you keep, half I keep.
That's fine with me. But what about Cobb? We can't split him in half.
Cobb, you've always liked Pierre the best. You better work for him.
No, Jacques. Even though I hit you on the head, I like you both the same.
You work for Pierre.
Jacques.
Well, Cobb, looks like the Guillaume brothers are no more, huh?
Pierre's coming. You mustn't find him. No, of course not.
Oh, no, not that way.
Go the back door.
Oh, you're back early, Pierre.
I told you to stop seeing Manette.
I'm going to see her, and I'm going to talk to her anytime I want to. Just
because you don't like her, no reason for me not to.
I'm your husband, and you do what I tell you to. She's a bad woman.
You always say that, but you never tell me why you think she's bad.
Well, you just take my word for it. She's what I say she is. Besides, I think she's done something wrong. That's why she's down here in the pit where nobody can find her.
What makes you think anybody's looking for her?
Well, why else would she be staying here?
Maybe she's staying here because she's in love with Jock.
Huh? You know, he's just fool enough to fall in love with her. But Minette doesn't love him. You can bet your life on that. Now, you stay away from her.
Think you know everything, don't you?
No. But I know everything there is to know about women.
Oh, you do, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know how many girls I turned down who asked me to marry. But when you proposed, I accepted. You know why?
No, what? I never asked you to marry me.
You're the only girl I ever asked to marry me. You know why?
Because you love me.
Because my Lily's the sweetest little girl in the whole world.
You two ought to do that inside, not out here. We got an audience.
Hello, Doc. I was just going to fix some coffee. Would you like some?
Well, Lily, it didn't look to me much like you were thinking about making coffee.
Oh.
What's on your mind, Doc?
Minette Lanier.
What about her?
Well, you don't need a doctor to tell you your brother's in love with her. Jacques said he found her up on a road in the Lafourche interior. You know, that's up near Grange Hill. A lot of rich people live in Grange Hill.
So?
Pierre, sometimes it pays to be a literate man. Here's a month-old copy of a New Orleans newspaper I subscribe to.
I ain't interested.
I think you'll be interested in this. What do you make of it?
Well, the Minette Lanier, who's living over in Jacques' houseboat, sure didn't commit suicide.
Obviously.
Maybe she's a cousin or something.
Maybe. Well, there's one way to find out. I'll take this paper up and show it to her.
I'll show it to her. You stay here and have some coffee with Lily.
Coming in here without knocking. Seems that I'm not the only Minette Lanier in the world.
Didn't you know that woman? No. That's funny.
Why? There are probably 100 Minette Laniers that I don't know.
Not in Grange Hill. There was another Pierre Guillot lived around here. I'd certainly know him.
What makes you think I come from Grange Hill?
Well, when Jacques found you, you weren't more than 10 miles from there. So I figure that's where you come from.
Well, you figure wrong, Pierre.
If you don't come from Grange Hill, where do you come from?
Where I come from, it's none of your business.
Those rings must cost a lot of money. Who gave them to you? Maybe nobody gave them to you. Maybe you stole them. Or maybe you got them in another way.
I'm not a thief, and I'm not
You're worse than a thief.
How dare you calling me?
Yeah. Come on.
Doc told me what he read in the newspaper. Did you tell Minette about it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what'd she say?
Nothing. I'm going to take me a little trip. I'll be back in a while.
Where are you going?
Grange Hill.
Let me go with you, Pierre. Please, Pierre.
Pardon me, sir. Could you tell me where I can find the grave of Minette Lanier?
Right over there.
Thank you. Excuse me. Sir? Could you tell me where I can find the grave of Minette Lanier?
You don't have to go much further. You'll find her husband right over yonder, drinking himself to death right alongside her.
Thank you.
Who are you?
I'm Pierre Guillot. And this is my wife, Lily.
Go away.
Are you Clay Lanier?
Yes, I'm Clay Lanier. Did you know my wife?
No, I didn't.
What are you doing here?
I know a girl who has the same name as your wife, and I thought they might be related.
My wife had no relations by the same name. There was only one Minette Lanier. There'll never be another. A wonderful woman.
I'm sure she was.
And now that you know that neither myself or my wife was related to your friend, there's no reason for you to remain here and mourn. I know why you're here. Curiosity. You want to know how my wife killed herself?
No, I told you, I know this
This
girl.
is it right here. This is the pistol that she used to remove herself from this unhappy world. She took this gun and she pressed it to her temple. Fire. Except my wife made sure that the chambers weren't empty. You see, Minette was a much braver human being than I. Now go away. I don't want strangers ogling at my wife's grave. Go away!
I wonder how much whiskey you gotta drink before you can walk like that. Miss Lanier, where do you live? Where's your home?
What you reading over there, nurse?
The latest issue of Cosmo.
Oh yeah? What's in there?
Tips and tricks of becoming a Louisiana Hussy.
Ooh, that sounds naughty. So what are the tips they give?
Well, the first one, obviously, is tease the hell out of everyone.
Well, of course.
Yeah, make out with whoever is standing next to you. Do strip teases out by the pond. And randomly dance for bayou fishermen in their cruddy cabins.
Yeah, all that makes sense.
It has charts for how to cross your legs like a hussy. It recommends that you buy bras that'll make your boobs as pointy as possible. You need to be able to gouge eyes out with those torpedo tits.
Well, that's a must.
And of course, talk with a sassy southern accent full of things that drip sexiness and seduction.
Cool.
Yep.
Anyway, things are starting to sort of unravel for Minette in this movie. Now, way back in the first act, when Minette was saved and brought to Pierre and Lily's home to recover, on their wedding night no less, she first attempted to make a pass at Pierre and was starting to make out with him. And I think she was picking up on how frustrated Pierre was that this was how they were spending their first night of being married. So she was kind of trying to slide in there and do a thing, you know. But despite initially falling for the pass and being watched by Jacques that gave him some ammunition against his own brother, Pierre realizes right away that Minette is trouble. But Jacques is much easier for Minette to cling on to. Soon, the doc realizes he recognizes the name Minette Lanier. He finds the paper with the story of the suicide of wealthy equestrian Minette Lanier. And now, Pierre and Lily, who wanted to take Minette in as a friend initially, she decides to join Pierre, and they go off to learn the truth of this Louisiana Hussy.
I'm kind of surprised how sexy this movie is. There's a lot of skin in this movie. The hussy does that strip tease when she realizes Pierre is around, and she has that pretty torrid sex scene with Jacques. And her boobs seem to enter every room several minutes before the rest of her comes into the room. It's almost more sexual than many of the romance movies today.
Yeah, this is definitely an exploitation movie. It kind of comes near the end of the bad girl exploitation films. We had previously looked at the Girl Gang movie, and that was definitely one of those movies too. Last week's movie, Private Hell 36, wasn't quite the same in terms of exploitation, but I do kind of see a connection of sorts between the two movies. In last week's movie, love complicated things. In this week's movie, sensuality and sex create all sorts of frustrations and complications. A rift already existed between Pierre and Jacques over Lily. Now when Pierre is correctly warning Jacques about something being off about Minette, it just absolutely breaks that relationship between the two brothers.
They even get into a fist fight over her.
Yep, dames, man, they're definitely trouble.
Tell me about it.
Now, you can kind of tell that this movie is made by a guy who is so efficient he made 1,300 productions. A lot of the filming centers around one very small area that makes up the pit. Okay, sure, we just saw Pierre and Lily kind of head off to a different town downriver, but I'm going to be hard to convince that they didn't just shoot someplace right next to where the rest of the movie is shot.
Also, a lot of acting in this movie makes me think I should quit my job here and go out to Hollywood and make $1 million being an actress.
Yeah, that's definitely an indication that things aren't like a normal big budget movie. It's an efficient little exploitation sex drama about a hussy. I would doubt there were many second, third, or fourth takes in many of these scenes. But maybe we should get into the final act and the revelation of who this Louisiana Hussy is and how that will affect everyone else in the movie.
Hey, wait! I just realized another connection between last week's movie and this week's.
Oh? What you got?
The lady last week was named Lily, and the wife in this week's movie is Lily too. This week is a sequel of last week's episode.
This newspaper clipping. That's what brought you here?
That's right. About a month ago. Jacques, my brother, he was picking moss in the bayou up at La Foch.
La Foch? They're here.
Callie, that old Gree woman. She come to him and said she had found a girl lying in the road in the woods, unconscious. Well, he went, and there she was, still as could be. Well, he brought her home, and she was in pretty bad shape.
This woman, was she wearing riding clothes?
Yes, sir.
Bert. Must be her.
Oh, I'm sure it's not, Mr. Lanier.
Well, there's one way to find out. I've got a picture of this Nina in the house.
Get it.
He must never find her. Please, sir. You must tell Mr. Lanier the picture he shows you is not the woman you know as Minette Lanier.
Why?
Because I don't want him to ever find her. If he does, I know something's going to happen.
Is that her? Is that her?
No, sir. I've never seen that woman before.
You sure?
Yes, sir. If I wasn't a married man, well, I sure could go for her. Who is she?
That is Nina Dupre. Someday I'll find that woman. When I do, I'll kill her. Kill her like she killed my Minette.
Mr. Lanier, you told me your wife committed suicide.
She killed herself, all right. Because Nina and I gave her no other choice. Did we? Did we, Bert?
But, Mr. Lanier, I don't think Mr. and Mrs. Gill are interested in hearing about her.
Oh, they're interested, Bert. Very interested. You know all about Nina Dupre? Tell him. Tell him, Bert. Tell him.
We better start for home, Pierre.
Bert.
Yes, sir.
We're leaving now.
I want to thank you very much for pretending you didn't recognize Mr. Dupre's picture.
Why didn't you want me to?
Killing her won't bring Mrs. Lanier back, and it won't make Grange Hill the way it used to be before that woman came here.
Hey, Bert.
Yes, sir?
Look, I did you a favor. How about you doing one for me?
I'll do anything I can for you, Mr. Gill.
Then tell us why Mrs. Lanier killed herself.
All right. About 6 months ago, Mrs. Lanier was training a green horse to take the jumps. I never saw a woman who could handle a horse like Mrs. Lanier. Well, at the last second, the horse refused to take the jump. Mrs. Lanier took an awful spill and broke her back. Doctors say she wouldn't be able to walk for a long time. So on account of the accident, Mr. Dupre came to Grange Hill. Seeing how Mrs. Lanier couldn't move about none, doctors thought time would pass easier for her. She had a woman her own age to stay with her, to be a sort of companion to her.
Instead, she turned out to be a companion for Mr. Lanier.
The first time I saw the way she looked at Mrs. Lanier, I knew there was going to be trouble. In the beginning, Mrs. Lanier liked her a whole lot. She felt sorry for her.
Have you ever done this kind of work before, Nina?
No, ma'am. Mrs. Lanier.
We're going to spend a lot of time together, so why don't you call me Minette?
Thank you.
Dr. Thomas told me you worked in the cotton mill. Did you like it?
I hated it.
I'm sure I would, too.
Hello, Dowdy. Well, how are you two getting along?
Just fine, Clay.
No personality clashes?
None at all.
Well, then it's all settled. Oh, Nina, Bert's driving into town. Thought you'd like to go along with him, pick up some clothes.
All right, Mr. Lanier.
Now, wait a minute, young lady. You must remember you're not a servant in this house. If I can call you Nina, you certainly can call me Clay, right?
Thank you, Clay.
That's fine.
I've got closets filled with clothes, and I won't be able to wear them for a long time. We're almost the exact size before. So if you don't mind wearing my clothes, there's no need for you to go into town.
That's a wonderful idea, honey. It's time somebody got some use out of them. Come on. Let's see now. Here's one. Well, looks like it was made for, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful.
And so are you. I've always said a beautiful girl must wear beautiful things. Isn't that right, darling?
Yes, dear.
Nina, I hope you enjoy your stay at Grange Hill.
I'm sure I will, Clay.
Goodbye, darling.
In the beginning, Nina and Mrs. Lanier were together all the time. They hit it off real well. They enjoyed each other's company. Evenings, Nina would read to Mrs. Lanier, play cards and things like that. Sometime, Mr. Lanier would join them. And when he did, Nina would pay no more attention to him than she did to Mrs. Lanier. I always thought because she wore Mrs. Lanier's clothes, she actually thought she was mistress of Grange Hill. Mrs. Lanier suspected what Nina was up to, but I guess she didn't quite know what she could do about it. It wasn't long before Nina was spending most of her time with Mr. Lanier. They would meet every morning. Mr. Lanier would give her riding lessons. And to see them together, no one would ever think she was hired to be a companion to Mrs. Lanier. The way she threw herself at him was scandalous. Whenever he drove into town, Nina always seemed to figure out some reason for going along with it. And she always managed to get as close to him as possible. Miss Lanier watched them from the bedroom window, and she was very concerned with what she saw. Until it was too late, Mr. Lanier never seemed to be aware of what Nina was up to. He thought she was just being friendly because she was grateful to him for bringing her to Grange Hill. Mrs. Lanier stood it as long as she could. And when she could stand it no longer, she decided something must be done about Nina.
Bert said you wanted to see me, Lanier.
I do, Nina.
Clay said I was learning to ride almost as well as you used to.
Nina, I won't be needing you any longer.
What do you mean?
I mean, I want you to leave Grange Hill, and I want you to leave tonight.
Why do you want me to leave?
I don't feel I owe you any explanation. Let us just say I made a mistake not treating you like a servant when you...
I'm not your servant, anyone else's. I'm every bit as good as you are. I know why you want me to leave.
I'm sure you do. So there's no need to continue this discussion. You may take any of my things you like particularly.
You're not getting rid of me that easily, Minette. I like it here, and I'm going to stay. Clay loves me, so if anybody leaves Grange Hill, it'll be you.
Well, Nina. What's the matter? Is something wrong? Nina. Nina. What's troubling you?
This is goodbye, Clay.
What do you mean goodbye? Where are you going?
Away from Grange Hill.
Don't you like it here?
You know I do. I don't want to leave, but I have to.
Why?
Clay, Minette has been awfully good to me. I like her so very much, it would kill me if I ever did anything that would hurt her.
And Minette's very fond of you, too.
She wouldn't be if she knew how I felt. Oh, Clay, I'm so ashamed of myself.
Don't cry, Nina. There's no reason for you to be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, yes, there is, Clay. I'm in love with you. Clay, I love you so. Oh, Clay. I don't want to leave.
I don't want you to leave, Nina.
It's not really our fault.
Nina, I'm sorry. We shouldn't have done what we did.
You killed her.
Clay, let me go!
You knew Minette was at that when you wanted us to see it.
No, Clay, I didn't. I didn't.
That's the last we ever saw of Miss Dupre. But Miss Lanier has never stopped trying to find her. I hope he never does. Killing her won't bring Miss Lanier back.
No, Bert, nothing can do that.
You think a lot of Mr. Lanier.
He's the finest man I've ever known.
Goodbye, Bert.
Goodbye, Miss Gill.
So long.
Bye.
did they leave without saying goodbye to me?
Well, I thought you were still asleep, Mr. Lanier, and they seemed so anxious to get started for home, they wanted me to say goodbye for them.
Mm-hmm. Bert, do you think they recognize that picture, Nina?
Oh, I'm sure they did, Mr. Lanier. You heard him say he never saw that picture before in his life.
That's what he said, Bert. But you can't always depend on what people say. Besides, he said that girl had riding clothes on. Get in the car.
Yes, sir.
What's the matter?
I don't want to be there when you talk to her.
Why not?
I don't know. I really don't know, Pierre. I guess I'd feel uncomfortable around her. I really did like her. I'm going home.
What are you in such a good mood about?
It's a beautiful day. Nina?
You didn't tell him where I was, did you?
No, I didn't. I don't like you. But I don't want Mr. Lanier killing you either. And I don't want that fool brother of mine thinking he's in love with you. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
What?
I'm going to drive you into Hammond and put you on a bus for New Orleans.
But I haven't got any money or clothes.
I'll give you the money for the bus fare.
Well, I'm not going. I'm staying right here.
Jock's a poor man. I don't know what you want to stay here for.
I need time to decide what...
You don't need any more time, honey. Get going. I know. Get out. Go on, run!
Why, where is she?
Look, I don't blame you for wanting to...
Where is she? Look, Pierre, I don't want to have to kill you, too. But you better stay where you are.
drive on into Hammond. Just leave the Jeep at the bus station.
But he'll follow me.
I'll see that he doesn't. Now go on. Beat it. Hey, wait a minute.
Shakespeare, what?
The rings. Give them to me.
No.
Then we're staying right here till Clegg gets here.
He'll kill me.
He can't kill you if you're not here.
I ought to kill you.
Car can't start without the keys, Mr. Linden.
Give me those keys.
No. Bert's right. Killing her won't do any good. You best just try and forget her. It's a long walk back to town. Give me a lift?
All right, Peter. Get in the car. Goodbye, Pierre. Goodbye, Mr. Gill.
Bye.
Oh, I feel so sorry for Mr. Lanier. Pierre, how did you know Manette was bad?
Your husband's a very smart man. And you just remember that, Lily.
Pierre! Pierre! You better go away for a few days.
Go away? What for?
He's Jacques. He's very angry. He's like a madman. He said he would kill you.
I've just done Jacques a big favor. When I tell him the truth, he'll want to kiss me, not kill me.
No, stay away from Jacques. He will not listen to anything you have to say.
He'll listen to what I have to say. Oh, Jacques. Now, look, I know you're mad, but will you just listen to me?
Jacques, listen to what Pierre has to say.
Will you listen to me? Will you just listen to me?
You let me out of here, Pierre! Well, now, Lily, maybe Jacques will listen to me.
can't keep a good hussy down, she'll find a way to keep on hussin'.
So in the final act, we finally learn all the lusty details of who this woman is. She's really named Nina, and she was hired to help a paralyzed competitive equestrian, and she ended up helping herself to that woman's husband. Their cavorting is discovered by the wife, and she kills herself out of grief, and that turns the husband against Nina instantly, who wants to find her and kill her to get back at her for basically torturing the real Minette.
What a wicked web that Louisiana Hussy weaves.
Absolutely. Give us the review, nurse.
I like this movie quite a bit. Sure, some of the acting and casting was kind of cruddy, but the story is there and it has some interesting bits. It's really watchable. I'm guessing that, like you said about this being an indie exploitation flick, they could push some extra boundaries. When we find out the truth about Nina and the real Minette, I found myself thinking about one of my all-time favorite movies, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Whenever I can be reminded of that, you've got me. I thought that Nan Peterson did a good job of being the evil hussy. I liked that she never really learned. She was kind of good when she was hired, but then turned evil when she realized how much attention her torpedo boobs could get. I give this a pretty solid 4 poops out of 5.
Yeah, this movie is cheap, it's totally exploitation and not exactly the highest of quality, but I do agree with you, nurse. This is a totally watchable flick and an interesting one to boot.
Yeah, I liked it a lot better than last week's.
Now, I disagree, but I do like both movies.
Ooh, should we try to end things on another cliffhanger to go into next week's with?
No, we're not going to do that.
But Jeff, I have a secret to reveal.
No.
A secret that will change everything.
Nah.
You will never be able to forgive me once you learn the truth of my background.
Cut it out. We're not actually done with this episode.
Oh.
So real quick, I want to cover the last 3 people in the cast. The first is Harry Lauder, who plays Clay Lanier. Now, Lauder had over 330 appearances in movies and TV. A lot of stuff he was in was not credited or was just very bit part type stuff, but still, he had appearances in movies like The Day the Earth Stood Still, Flying Leathernecks, and even Riot in Cell Block 11, which was directed, again, by Don Siegel, the director of last week's Private Hell 36. By 1959, he was starting to work more commonly on TV, but in 1971, he had a bit part in Escape from the Planet of the Apes. In the flashback, playing his wife was Rosalie Calvert. Now, at the time, she was married to Peter Coe. They divorced in the mid-60s, but really, though, her background was as a model earlier in life. She also just passed away in April 2023 at the age of 96. We learned the whole backstory about Nina and the Laniers from the family servant Bert. Now, Bert was played by Smokey Whitfield. Whitfield was kind of a triple threat as an actor, musician, and comedian. Understand, I would expect a lot of his earliest roles are probably considered a little iffy these days. However, he did appear in the Disney miniseries The Swamp Fox with Leslie Nielsen. In that, Nielsen played a Revolutionary War colonel who fought to free South Carolina from the British. Whitfield played the slave, Oscar, who was owned by Nielsen's character. These were actually historical characters the actors were playing. In fact, Oscar the slave was later named an African American patriot in an official federal ceremony in 2006. Alright, I think it is time to wrap things up. What do you think, nurse?
Yeah, I think we can probably do that. You know, it's not too late to do another big old cliffhanger.
Pass.
Are you sure?
Yeah, hard pass.
Bummer.
Now, on behalf of the Great B-Movie Poop Shoot and Nurse Disembody, I'm Jeff Arbuckle, and we look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of B-Movie Enema, the series.
See you next time, and when I do, I will reveal the big secret that all this time I was really...